Sibonga kakhulu kumhlonishwa umholi wekho. Sesizocela, we are now going to call upon His Excellency the Honorable the Prince of Pinetown, the leader of the IFP, to take the podium.
He's a very mean person. And if you see, then he will take some of the minutes. Director of programs, Honorable Mr. Long, honorable leaders of political parties, fellow South Africans from all political parties, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. When the leaders of South Africa's people gathered at the negotiating table during negotiations to find a new dispensation for this country, the IFP stood firm on several fundamental issues. And one of these issues we stood up on was we demanded the inclusion of the Bill of Rights in our Constitution. We were amazed at the ANC's conviction that the democratic government could not possibly infringe on the rights of the people. Their naivety was mind-boggling. It was exposed, how naive they were, and we sensed danger. 8 years into democracy, we have endeavored no doubt that the democratic government can, in fact, infringe on the rights of its people. Perhaps the greatest evidence yet is the ANC's determined pursuit of the protection of the State's Information Bill in the face of public outrage and unanimous dissent. Everyone has opposed this bill, from former ministers of the ANC to NGOs, from traditional leaders to Mangosuthu, from churches to the media, without exception. South Africa has rejected what we now call the secrecy bill. But it still stands. How is it possible that Parliament is about to pass legislation that the whole country has clearly rejected? Democracy is about Parliament expressing the will of the people. Why then is Parliament adopting a law that the people don't want? Who is the ANC representing when they do these things? That is the question we in the opposition have joined hands to ask today. This cuts across any ideological divides in the opposition, for we all represent the people, we represent you. And you, as people, are not being heard with the arrogance of the ruling party. Instead, the ANC is representing the will of spies, the secret services, the state security apparatus. Under the secrecy bill, if government was to keep anything secret from the people, it will. As the Honorable Mr. God has just said, the media, which has been so ardent at exposing high-level corruption, will be silent forever. There will be no public interest defense for those who tell us what corrupt leaders are doing. And ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely wrong. And we thank you for attending this meeting. Because we wanted to deliver that message, which my colleagues have delivered to you so articulately. We in the opposition have joined forces to stop this bill, and our efforts have met with small victories, if I may say so, because we saw parts of the bill changed, small parts. But the final battle has not been won. For this bill still stands, and the worst effects of the bill still remain. So we'll continue our fight as we do here today, because losing the battle will destroy this country's last firewall against corruption. And of course, corruption is a cancer eating away in the heart of our nation. With every rand misspent or mismanaged by the government, we the people lose confidence in our leaders. With every corrupt tender, illegally enriched official, and abuse of power, the chasm between the government and the citizenry operates. We are left in poverty, with crime and despair. All these are the offspring of corruption. There is corruption at every level of our public life and at every level of government. My colleagues here are my witnesses. During this year's State of the Nation address, my response to Mr. Zuma was about corruption. I spoke to him about corruption. I reminded him that he had just said one of his Minister of Public Works was of corruption. I reminded him that he had appointed Mr. Silevi as the National Commissioner, and he had just been convicted because of corruption. I reminded him that he had just removed Commissioner Tele because of corruption. I requested him, I pleaded with him in their presence not to appoint a cadre or a comrade, and that he should appoint a trained policeman as a commissioner of the country. But he ignored it and did just that. This country is in serious trouble. The national government is taking over the poor because of corruption. The national government has taken some departments in the Eastern Cape because of corruption. In the Free State, in Gauteng, it's the same. Everywhere. Corruption stinks, even at high levels. I mentioned these things to Mr. Zuma, all of these things. The ANC has proven lethargic and blasé in the face of corruption. Thus, we in the opposition have accepted the responsibility to stand up as South Africa's moral guardians. We know that secrecy and corruption rob our country of service delivery. We are saying no to secrecy and no to corruption. This year, when Mr. Gordon announced the budget, for the first time, we had our budget was in trillions, and so on. We were told that the money was going to be used to create infrastructure and thereby create jobs. But in fact, my response to Mr. Zuma was that my worry is that whether every cent that is budgeted for the civil purpose will be spent for that purpose. That's the problem. The coalition, that is my colleagues here and I, we say yes to transparency, as Mrs. God has just said, and accountability. For honest government, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't happen by virtue of empowering leaders either on the basis of liberation credentials or their loyalty to the ruling party. Honest governance is the result of people holding leaders accountable to them. To do that, the people must know exactly what their leaders are up to. In this province, some of you remember what happened in this province. Then when I was chief minister in this province, I actually founded a bank, Natal Bank. And you know that money was spent for 5 farms for MECs, you know. And just recently, last week, the Auditor General was questioning millions and millions that were written off from the entire bank. And the entire bank was founded for poor people because commercial banks would not accept any idea of giving loans to our people because they have no security. And today you see even the National Youth Agency, that they have spent money, more than 100,000, which will never recover, in the midst of so much unemployment and poverty in our country. So the coalition against corruption, that is all of us here, who are committed to that goal. We are blowing the whistle today on corruption, and on the secrets that allows corruption to flourish. Ladies and gentlemen, my philosophy as Mangosuthu Buthelezi is always to try and keep integrity. Because as someone remarked, if one has integrity, then anything else doesn't matter. I reminded the President, my colleague can bear me out, that when he was Deputy President, Mr. Mbeki actually asked him to lead the moderate regional nation in this country. And I said to him, I didn't want to comment on that. If you know what has happened since then. So when I take a stand, even how unpopular, even if it's however difficult, I do it if it's the right thing to do and pay the price. I would stand against corruption, even if I were to stand alone. But I thank God today. But these ladies and gentlemen, these men and women, these fellow South Africans, these leaders of political parties are standing with me. And they stand in the same condition. The coalition against corruption is not just for political leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It is for you. It is for every honest citizen who will stand with us. We have come to plead with you to stand with us and blow the whistle on corruption. As we depart this value, let's remember the Apostle Paul's letter to Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 15, where he says, and I quote you, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time." The IT is blowing the whistle, ACTB is blowing the whistle, all the party today